In an elegant, upscale hotel lobby, the atmosphere is warm and bustling, guests chatting happily, soft music playing, and bellhops in uniform transporting luggage with swift precision. The camera pans across the room, showcasing the grandeur of the hotel, shiny marble floors, sparkling chandeliers, and an air of luxury that immediately conveys how expensive this place is. We then cut to the entrance, where Darius, a well-dressed black man in his late 30s, enters the lobby. He's confident, carrying a sleek suitcase and wearing a tailored jacket that hints at his success. Darius walks in with purpose, looking around the lobby like someone familiar with the place. He is, after all, the owner of the hotel chain, but no one knows it yet. Darius has made this visit undercover to observe how the staff treats everyday guests, particularly how they handle issues like race and class, which are close to his heart. As he approaches the front desk, the atmosphere suddenly shifts. The receptionist, Carly, is busy typing on her computer and doesn't notice him at first. When she finally looks up, her expression changes in an instant. The friendly smile she wore while helping the previous guest fades into a cold, almost suspicious look. The camera zooms in on her face as she subtly scans Darius up and down, her eyes lingering on his appearance. A quick, judgmental look that makes viewers immediately sense that something is wrong. Carly doesn't greet Darius with the usual, "Welcome to our hotel. How can I help you today?" Instead, she hesitates, as if she's unsure what to say to him. It's a small but noticeable pause, and the viewers feel the tension beginning to build. Carly's change in demeanor is subtle, but it's enough to plant the seed that something isn't quite right about this interaction. Darius, however, doesn't seem to notice the shift in her tone, or if he does, he doesn't let it affect him. With a polite smile, he walks up to the desk and says, "Good afternoon. I have a reservation under the name Darius Williams." His voice is calm, professional, and confident, but Carly's reaction doesn't match his energy. Instead of typing his name into the computer immediately, she gives him another once-over, as if she's trying to decide if he's telling the truth, or if he even belongs in such an upscale place. Viewers can sense the microaggressions happening here. Carly is already making assumptions about Darius based on his appearance. The way she hesitates, the coldness in her expression, and her refusal to engage him warmly all suggest that she's already decided something about him. The tension is palpable, and viewers can feel the awkwardness beginning to rise. They're hooked, eager to see what's going to happen next. 2. The awkward check-in. The camera cuts to a close-up of Carly's hands hovering over the keyboard, but instead of typing Darius's name into the system, she hesitates once more, almost as if she's stalling. Finally, she begins to speak, her tone lacking the warmth and professionalism she displayed earlier with the previous guest. "I'm sorry, but I'm not seeing a reservation under that name," she says curtly, without even looking at the computer screen. Darius, still calm and collected, responds, "Could you check again, please? I booked the room well in advance." His tone is polite, but the viewers can sense that even he is starting to feel the weight of Carly's attitude. He's not a man who expects special treatment because of his status, but it's clear that something about this interaction doesn't feel right to him. Carly, however, barely hides her irritation. With an exaggerated sigh, she reluctantly turns to her computer and begins typing. The audience can see from her expression that she's not really trying to find the reservation. She's just going through the motions, and it's obvious to viewers that her preconceived notions about Darius are clouding her ability to provide decent customer service. As the seconds tick by, Carly taps her keyboard lazily, her eyes occasionally flicking up to Darius as if she's expecting him to disappear on his own. "Like I said," she mutters, "there's no reservation for a Darius Williams here." The audience feels the sting of her indifference, recognizing that this is not a matter of a simple mistake. This is something deeper. Carly's attitude is dripping with judgment, and viewers can sense that she has already decided Darius doesn't belong in this hotel. Darius, ever the professional, keeps his cool. "I have a confirmation email," he offers, pulling out his phone to show proof of his booking, but Carly barely glances at it before cutting him off. "Sir, we're fully booked. I don't know what to tell you." Her tone is dismissive, and she avoids eye contact, as if she wants the interaction to be over as quickly as possible. The viewers are on edge. They can feel Darius's frustration simmering beneath the surface. How much longer will he remain patient? He knows he's being treated unfairly, but he's choosing to stay calm. The audience can't help but root for him, hoping he'll reveal who he is and put Carly in her place. But Darius doesn't escalate the situation yet. The tension grows thicker as Carly continues to treat Darius like he's an inconvenience rather than a valued guest. She's clearly trying to brush him off, and viewers can sense that something is about to go wrong. Darius remains collected, but there's a glimmer of frustration in his eyes now, a sign that he won't tolerate this much longer. The suspense is building, and the audience is eager to see where this encounter will lead. 3. Denied a room without reason. Carly leans back in her chair, her arms crossed, and stares at Darius with a look that makes it clear she's done dealing with him. "Sir," she says, her tone growing more impatient, "like I said, we're fully booked tonight. There's nothing I can do." It's a lie, and the audience knows it. They've seen how this hotel operates, and there are always rooms available for guests who meet the right criteria. Darius doesn't back down. "I understand," he says evenly, "but I have a confirmed reservation. I can show you the details again if you'd like." His voice remains polite, but there's an edge to it now, a quiet assertion of his right to be treated fairly. Viewers are on the edge of their seats, waiting to see how far Carly will take this charade. But instead of acknowledging her mistake or checking again, Carly doubles down. "I don't know how you got that confirmation," she says, shrugging dismissively. "There must have been a mix-up. Unfortunately, we can't accommodate you tonight." Her tone implies that Darius is the one at fault, that somehow he doesn't belong here. The subtle racism in her words isn't lost on the audience. They can see exactly what's happening, and the frustration is palpable. At this point, Carly calls over the security guard, Rick, a tall, burly man in his 40s with a no-nonsense demeanor. He approaches the desk, eyes flicking between Carly and Darius, clearly sensing some tension but not understanding the full context. Carly gestures toward Darius and says, "Rick, can you help this gentleman? He's trying to check in, but we don't have any rooms available." Rick, not questioning Carly's version of events, steps toward Darius with an authoritative stance. "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave the premises," he says firmly. Darius's expression remains calm, but the viewers can see the fire in his eyes now. This is more than just an inconvenience. This is discrimination, and it's happening right in front of them. Darius takes a deep breath, clearly weighing his options. He's been patient up until this point, but now it's clear that Carly and Rick are treating him unfairly, based on their own assumptions about who he is. The tension is at its peak, and the audience is desperate to see how Darius will handle this moment. Will he reveal who he really is? Will he call them out on their behavior? The suspense is thick as Darius, still maintaining his composure, says calmly, "I'd like to speak to the manager, please." Carly and Rick exchange a quick glance, and viewers can sense that they're about to be caught in their own web of lies. This expanded version provides more depth to the characters and builds tension, making the situation increasingly frustrating and unfair for Darius, while keeping the viewers hooked as they anticipate the big reveal that's yet to come. 4. Escorted out. The embarrassment. The camera shifts focus as the situation escalates. Carly, standing behind the front desk with a smug look on her face, nods at the security guard, Rick, as if signaling him to take action. Rick steps forward, looming over Darius, who is still standing there calmly, holding his suitcase. The stark contrast between Darius's composure and the unnecessary aggression from Rick is obvious, adding to the growing tension. Rick, with authority in his voice, says, "Sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave." It's not a request, it's a command. He doesn't make eye contact, instead looking over Darius's shoulder as though avoiding confrontation. The viewers can sense that Rick is acting on Carly's misguided assumptions rather than any real threat posed by Darius. Darius raises his hands slightly, showing he means no harm, and asks calmly, "On what grounds?" "I've done nothing wrong. I simply want to check in, like any other guest." His voice remains steady, but there's an undertone of frustration. Viewers can feel it, the unfairness, the embarrassment of being treated this way for no reason. But Rick doesn't back down. He places a firm hand on Darius's shoulder and begins to lead him toward the door. The scene is tense, with every step feeling heavier than the last. Darius, still holding his suitcase, walks alongside Rick, making no fuss but clearly unhappy with the situation. The humiliation is clear. As they pass through the lobby, people begin to stare. Other guests whisper among themselves, some looking away awkwardly, while others watch in curiosity. The weight of these silent judgments hangs in the air, and the viewers feel the sting of public embarrassment that Darius is enduring. A close-up shot shows Darius's face, still calm, but with a hint of anger in his eyes. The audience knows that he has the power to turn this situation around at any moment, yet he remains composed. As Rick leads him toward the revolving doors, Carly watches from behind the desk, satisfied that the problem has been dealt with. She turns to another guest with a rehearsed smile, going about her business as if nothing happened. The camera follows Darius as he steps out of the hotel, the heavy doors closing behind him with a thud. It's a moment of silence, the kind that leaves viewers in disbelief at the treatment Darius just received. Now standing outside, Darius takes a deep breath, adjusting his jacket. He looks around, taking in the busy city street, and for the first time, the viewers see a small but significant shift in his expression. The calm is still there, but there's something else too: determination. Inside the hotel, Rick and Carly share a quick glance, believing the situation is over. They both return to their posts, thinking that their little moment of prejudice won't come back to haunt them. But viewers know better. There's an air of anticipation, a feeling that this isn't over yet. 5. A mysterious phone call. Outside, the camera stays focused on Darius as he pulls out his smartphone. The viewers have no idea what he's planning to do, but the suspense is palpable. He scrolls through his contacts with purpose, his face illuminated by the screen. There's a sense of calm, but it's the kind of calm that comes before a storm. Darius dials a number, holds the phone to his ear, and waits. His body language is relaxed, but there's a quiet intensity about him. The audience leans in, wondering who he could be calling. Maybe a friend, legal assistance, or could this be the moment where he reveals his true identity? On the other end, a voice answers. Darius's tone is respectful but firm, with an unmistakable air of authority that hints at the power he holds. "Hey, it's Darius," he says, pausing briefly. "Yeah, I'm at the property now. We've got a problem. I need you to handle it." The viewers don't know who he's talking to, but the seriousness in his voice tells them this is no ordinary call. Darius's calm demeanor in this moment only adds to the intrigue. He isn't rattled by what just happened. If anything, he seems to have expected it. Viewers start to realize that this isn't the first time Darius has encountered this kind of discrimination, and they can feel the weight of that experience in his every word. The conversation is short, but the impact is significant. "Make sure the staff is aware of who I am," he says, his voice steady and controlled. I'll be waiting." He hangs up the phone, slips it back into his pocket, and looks up at the hotel building with a slight smile forming on his face. A smile that suggests he knows exactly what's about to happen. Inside the hotel, Carly and Rick are completely unaware of the storm they've just invited. The lobby continues to bustle with activity, but there's a growing sense of unease as viewers anticipate what's coming next. Carly types away at her computer, oblivious to the fact that her world is about to be turned upside down. The suspense builds as Darius remains outside, leaning casually against a pillar. His posture is relaxed, but his eyes are focused, scanning the hotel as though he's inspecting every inch of it. The viewers know he's waiting for something or someone, and the tension mounts as they try to guess what will happen next. The camera lingers on Darius for a moment longer, the weight of his phone call hanging in the air. Then, with one last glance at the hotel entrance, he turns and walks down the street, disappearing into the crowd. But the audience knows this isn't the last they'll see of him. The sense of impending revelation is undeniable, and viewers are left on the edge of their seats, eagerly waiting for the moment when Carly and Rick realize their massive mistake. These sections dive deeper into the emotional and suspenseful build-up, allowing viewers to feel the growing tension as Darius experiences blatant discrimination and responds with quiet confidence. The anticipation of what's to come keeps the audience fully engaged, knowing that the situation is about to take a dramatic turn. 6. Hotel staff gets nervous. Inside the hotel, the lobby carries on in its usual hustle and bustle, with guests checking in, bellhops rushing around, and the luxurious atmosphere continuing to exude exclusivity. Carly returns to her routine at the front desk, having brushed off the uncomfortable incident with Darius. She leans back in her chair, feeling a small sense of relief now that the problem has been escorted out. Rick, the security guard, gives her a reassuring nod as he stands by, keeping an eye on things. But just as Carly starts to relax, her phone rings. The sound cuts through the air, and her posture stiffens slightly as she picks up the receiver. On the other end is Susan, the hotel's general manager. Susan's voice is hurried, and Carly immediately senses a shift in tone. "Carly, I need you to get everything ready for our VIP guest," Susan says, her words coming out in a rush. "They'll be arriving any minute." Carly, still a little disoriented from the call, replies, Okay, but we're fully booked, aren't we?" She glances over at Rick, who shrugs, clueless about the sudden urgency. Carly's mind starts racing. Who could this VIP be, and why hadn't she been informed earlier? There's a brief pause on the other end of the line before Susan responds with a tone that suggests she's speaking carefully, almost nervously. "It's the owner," she says. "The owner of the entire chain. They're making a surprise visit, and everything needs to be perfect." Carly's face goes pale. The camera zooms in on her as the realization starts to dawn. This isn't just a regular VIP. This is the VIP, the person who owns the entire hotel chain. Suddenly, Carly's casual demeanor is gone, replaced by a frantic sense of urgency. She sits up straight in her chair, quickly turning to her computer to check reservations, making sure everything is in order. Rick notices the change in Carly's behavior and steps closer. "What's going on?" he asks, his voice low and cautious. Carly, flustered, waves him off. "The owner's coming," she whispers. "The owner. We can't mess this up." The viewers are glued to the screen now, sensing that the staff is about to get a huge wake-up call. Carly begins to scramble, making calls, checking availability, and ensuring the penthouse suite is prepped for the mysterious arrival. But the audience knows something Carly doesn't. Darius is the owner, and they've just kicked him out. As Carly rushes to prepare, the tension builds. The camera cuts between Carly's frantic actions and Rick's growing concern, creating an atmosphere of impending doom. Viewers are on the edge of their seats, knowing that the staff is about to realize they've made a colossal mistake. Carly's nervous energy is palpable as she checks and rechecks the bookings, all while still unaware that the man she dismissed just moments ago was the very person they're trying to impress. Suddenly, another call comes in, this time from Thomas, a senior executive who oversees hotel operations. His voice is calm but firm, and Carly can hear the seriousness in his tone. "I've been informed the owner is already at the property," he says, sending a shiver down Carly's spine. "They've just made a call to corporate about an issue with the staff." Carly's heart drops. The camera zooms in on her face as the realization finally hits her. Darius wasn't just any guest. He was the guest, the one person she couldn't afford to mistreat. She covers the phone's mouthpiece and whispers to Rick, her voice barely audible. "He's the owner. The man we just kicked out is the owner." Rick's eyes widen, and for the first time he looks genuinely worried. The camera cuts to the viewers, who are now fully engaged, sensing the full weight of what's about to happen. Carly and Rick stand frozen for a moment, the enormity of their mistake hanging in the air like a heavy cloud. 7. The plot twist. Who's the real boss? The atmosphere in the hotel lobby has completely shifted. Carly's heart races as she hangs up the phone, her hands shaking slightly. She knows she's made a monumental error, and there's no way to undo it now. She glances at Rick, who looks equally stunned, his usual confident demeanor replaced by a look of panic. Suddenly, the main doors to the hotel swing open, and Darius walks back in, calm and composed. The contrast between his cool, controlled manner and the frantic energy of the hotel staff is stark. Carly's eyes lock onto him, her mouth slightly open in disbelief. Rick, standing a few feet away, stiffens, unsure of what to do. Darius strides confidently across the lobby, and the camera follows him in a dramatic slow-motion shot. He's no longer the quiet guest who was treated poorly. Now he's the boss returning to claim his authority. Every step he takes heightens the tension, with the staff watching him, unsure of how to react. Carly, realizing the gravity of her mistake, rushes around the desk to approach him. Her face is flushed with panic as she stammers, "Mr. Williams, I'm so sorry. We didn't know. I didn't realize." Her words are a jumbled mess of apologies and excuses, and it's clear that she's trying to save face. But Darius remains silent, his expression unreadable as he listens to her ramble. Viewers can feel the weight of his unspoken judgment. He doesn't need to say anything just yet. His silence speaks volumes, and the audience knows that Carly's actions have already condemned her. Rick, standing awkwardly to the side, attempts to step in. We were just following protocol, sir," he says, his voice shaky. "We didn't mean any disrespect." But his words sound hollow, and he knows it. The viewers can see the guilt written all over his face. The camera cuts to the lobby where guests and staff alike are watching the scene unfold. There's an air of anticipation as everyone waits to see what Darius will do next. Will he fire Carly and Rick on the spot? Will he humiliate them in front of everyone? But Darius, ever the professional, doesn't raise his voice. Instead, he addresses Carly with a quiet authority that commands attention. "So, you didn't think I belonged here?" he says, his voice calm but firm. "You didn't think someone like me could be a guest at a place like this?" Carly opens her mouth to respond, but no words come out. She looks down, ashamed, as the full weight of her prejudice becomes clear. The camera zooms in on her face, showing the guilt and regret she's feeling. Viewers can't help but feel a mix of satisfaction and discomfort. They've been waiting for this moment, but seeing Carly's humiliation in real time is powerful. Darius doesn't berate her, though. Instead, he turns to address the entire staff, his voice carrying through the lobby. "This hotel, my hotel, should be a place where every guest is treated with respect. No exceptions. What happened today can never happen again." His words are measured, but the authority in his voice is unmistakable. It's a powerful moment, one that resonates deeply with the audience. Carly and Rick stand there, their faces red with embarrassment as Darius finishes speaking. He gives them one last look before walking away, leaving them to deal with the consequences of their actions. The tension lingers in the air, but viewers feel a sense of closure. Justice has been served, not through anger or retribution, but through calm, confident leadership. As Darius exits the lobby, the camera follows him, capturing the reactions of the guests and staff. Everyone is silent, reflecting on what just happened. The viewers are left with a powerful message about respect, equality, and the importance of never judging someone by their appearance. 8. The consequences. A moment of reflection. As Darius walks away from the confrontation, the camera shifts back to Carly and Rick, who are left standing in stunned silence in the middle of the lobby. Carly, still reeling from the humiliation, can barely hold herself together. Her eyes are wide with disbelief, and her face is flushed with a mix of shame and regret. Viewers can sense her internal struggle, the overwhelming realization that she has crossed a line she can never uncross. Rick, too, looks shaken. The usual confident stance of the security guard is gone, replaced by the slumped shoulders of someone who knows he made a critical mistake. He keeps glancing at Carly, hoping she'll say something that can fix the situation, but she's just as lost as he is. The two of them stand awkwardly in the bustling lobby, but the atmosphere has shifted. Everyone, from the guests to the staff, has seen the events unfold, and the judgment is clear. Carly mutters, "I didn't know. I didn't mean..." But her voice trails off. She can't find the words to explain what she's done, because deep down she knows there is no excuse. The camera zooms in on her face, capturing the raw emotion in her eyes, the regret, the embarrassment, and the deep gnawing fear of the consequences that are now inevitable. In the background, some of the other hotel staff exchange uncomfortable glances. Marta, a fellow receptionist, shifts nervously behind the counter, having overheard everything. She's always admired Carly's professionalism, but now, in this moment, she sees a side of her colleague that's hard to reconcile with the image she's held in her mind. Marta's gaze softens slightly as she watches Carly struggle with the fallout, but there's no denying the disappointment in her eyes. Rick, sensing the weight of the situation, turns to Carly and mutters, "Maybe we should go talk to Susan. See if we can explain what happened. Maybe she'll understand." But his voice lacks conviction, and even he knows it's a futile hope. What happened can't be explained away. Carly nods numbly, knowing they have no other choice. As they head toward the back office to meet Susan, the camera lingers on them, showing their walk of shame through the lobby. Guests murmur softly as they pass, some shaking their heads, others watching in curiosity. The tension in the air is palpable, and the viewers can't help but feel a mix of satisfaction and sympathy. Carly and Rick are paying the price for their actions, but there's also a sense that they've learned a valuable, albeit painful, lesson. When Carly and Rick finally reach Susan's office, they hesitate outside the door, exchanging a glance. Carly takes a deep breath, then knocks softly. A muffled "come in" comes from inside, and they step through the door. Susan, the hotel's general manager, is sitting behind her desk, looking through some paperwork. As they enter, she looks up, her expression unreadable. "I've already heard what happened," Susan says before they can even begin to explain. "The owner himself called me. Needless to say, this is not how we treat guests, any guests, at this hotel." Carly opens her mouth to speak, but Susan cuts her off. "I'm disappointed, Carly. You've been with us long enough to know better. I expected more from you." Her tone is firm, but not angry. It's the kind of disappointment that stings more than any reprimand could. Carly lowers her gaze, unable to meet Susan's eyes. Susan turns to Rick next. "And you," she says, her voice sharp, "I trust you to ensure the safety and comfort of our guests, not to act on misguided assumptions." Today, you failed in that duty. Rick shifts uncomfortably, his eyes downcast. I'm sorry, he mutters, but the words feel empty, even to him. The viewers can feel the weight of the moment. The consequences of their actions are clear, and there's no escaping them. Susan lets the silence hang for a moment before speaking again. You'll both need to take some time off while we review this incident with corporate, she says, her tone final. We'll be in touch regarding your employment. Carly's heart sinks even further. Time off? Employment review? The realization that her career could be over sinks in, and the viewers can sense the gravity of what's happening. This isn't just about losing face in front of Darius. It's about her entire professional life crumbling because of one moment of prejudice. As Carly and Rick leave Susan's office, they exchange one last look. There's no anger between them, only shared regret and shame. The viewers are left reflecting on how quickly a situation can spiral out of control when judgments are made without thought or fairness. Redemption, an unexpected second chance. As Carly and Rick walk through the hotel lobby, heads down and hearts heavy, they approach the exit with the weight of their mistakes pressing down on them. But just as they're about to leave, they see someone standing by the revolving doors. Darius. He's calmly leaning against the wall, his gaze steady and focused. The viewers, just as surprised as Carly and Rick, instantly feel the tension in the air. Carly freezes. Her first instinct is to avoid his eyes, to keep walking and escape the scene of her greatest humiliation. But something about Darius's demeanor holds her in place. He doesn't look angry, and there's no sign of vindictiveness in his expression. Instead, he appears calm, perhaps even thoughtful, as if he's been waiting for this moment. The viewers sense that something big is about to happen. Will Darius punish them? Will he deliver the final blow to their careers? Carly's heart races, and Rick's usual strong presence falters as he shifts uncomfortably by her side. Darius steps forward, his every move deliberate. The camera zooms in on his face, showing no malice, only a quiet strength. Carly gathers her courage and steps toward him. Her voice is shaky as she says, "Mr. Williams, I am so sorry for what happened earlier. I didn't know who you were and I judged you. I made a terrible mistake. Her words trail off, and for the first time tears well up in her eyes. She's not just embarrassed, she's truly remorseful. The viewers can feel her regret in every word, and it's clear this moment is changing her. Rick stands beside her, his eyes cast downward, nodding slightly in agreement. "We never should have treated you like that, sir," he adds, his voice lower but filled with just as much sincerity. "It was wrong, and I apologize." Darius looks at them both, and there's a long pause. The camera captures every flicker of emotion on his face as he weighs their words. The audience holds their breath, expecting him to deliver the final, decisive moment where he seals their fate. But what he says next surprises everyone. "It's not about knowing who I am," Darius begins, his voice calm but firm. "It's about treating people with respect, no matter what they look like, where they come from, or what you think you know about them. You both made a mistake today. A big one, but we all make mistakes." Carly blinks, her breath catching in her throat. The viewers sense the possibility of something unexpected. Forgiveness. Darius continues, "I didn't come back here to make sure you lost your jobs. That's not who I am. I believe in second chances, and I believe people can change. What matters is that you learn from this." The camera pans to Carly, who is visibly emotional, tears now quietly streaming down her face. Rick stands solemnly, absorbing Darius's words. The sense of relief is palpable, but so is the weight of the lesson they've just learned. "If you're willing to change," Darius adds, "then I'm willing to give you both another shot. But this doesn't come without expectations. This hotel My hotel has to stand for something better than what happened today. Are you both willing to work for that? Carly nods quickly, overcome with emotion. Yes, absolutely. I promise I'll never make a mistake like this again, she says, her voice breaking slightly. Rick, though less emotional, steps forward with sincerity. You have my word, sir. I'll do better. We'll do better. Darius looks at them both for a long moment, then gives a small nod. All right, let's move forward from here. The viewers feel a sense of satisfaction and resolution as Carly and Rick walk away, visibly changed by the experience. They haven't just been given their jobs back, they've been given a chance to grow, to become better versions of themselves. It's a powerful moment of redemption, one that resonates deeply with the audience. 10. A new beginning. Respect restored. The camera shifts to a new day at the hotel, casting a warm glow over the lobby as the staff move about, attending to guests. There's a noticeable difference in the atmosphere, an energy of renewal, of lessons learned and respect restored. The viewers can sense that something significant has changed, not just for Carly and Rick, but for the entire hotel. Carly, now standing at the front desk once more, looks more composed, more thoughtful in her actions. She greets each guest with genuine warmth, making sure to meet their eyes and listen carefully to their requests. The viewers can see that she's taking Darius's words to heart, working harder to be the kind of professional who treats everyone with dignity and respect, regardless of their appearance. Rick is also back at his post, his posture still strong, but without the previous edge of intimidation. He watches the lobby carefully, but there's a new lightness to his demeanor. He offers a friendly nod to guests as they pass, making a conscious effort to show that he's there for their comfort, not just their security. The camera pans through the lobby, showing the buzz of activity as the hotel functions smoothly under this new, more inclusive mindset. There's a subtle but powerful message in the air. The way people treat one another matters. It's the foundation of any successful enterprise, especially one that prides itself on hospitality. Then, just as the scene seems to settle, Darius walks into the lobby once more. This time, there's no tension, no nervous glances from the staff. Instead, there are smiles and respectful nods as he makes his way to the front desk. Carly greets him with a warm, professional smile, her voice steady as she says, "Welcome back, Mr. Williams. Is there anything we can do for you today?" Darius smiles back, appreciating the change in her demeanor. "No, Carly, everything looks great," he replies, giving a nod of approval. "Keep up the good work." As he walks away, the camera follows him, showing the bustling hotel in full swing. The viewers feel a sense of closure, knowing that Darius's calm leadership and willingness to give Carly and Rick a second chance have transformed not just their individual outlooks, but the culture of the hotel itself. The final shot shows Darius stepping out of the hotel, disappearing into the city streets. The camera lingers on the hotel's sign, symbolizing a place that now stands for something deeper than just luxury. It stands for respect, equality, and growth. As the video fades out, the viewers are left with a powerful message. No matter the mistakes made, there's always room for redemption, learning, and a chance to make things right. And sometimes the greatest leaders are the ones who can inspire that change in others, without anger or revenge, but with patience, wisdom, and a belief in second chances. These final two sections bring the story full circle, offering both suspenseful resolution and an emotional payoff that leaves viewers reflecting on the themes of respect, redemption, and leadership. It concludes with a satisfying message that resonates on a personal and universal level. The lesson of this story goes beyond just a simple tale of mistakes and redemption. It's a reminder that our first judgments of others, based on appearances or assumptions, can often be the most harmful. Every person you meet carries their own story, their own worth, and it's on us to treat them with the respect and dignity that we ourselves would hope to receive. Carly and Rick's journey teaches us that it's never too late to change, to learn and to grow. We all make mistakes, sometimes out of fear, ignorance, or prejudice. But what truly defines us is how we choose to respond when we realize we're wrong. In life, it's easy to judge, to assume, to think we know someone just from the surface. But real humanity, real connection, comes from looking deeper, from offering kindness even when it's not expected, from admitting when we're wrong, and from embracing the chance to make things right. Darius showed us the power of grace. He could have reacted with anger, with punishment, with a demand for immediate justice. But instead, he chose a path of understanding, of offering a second chance. And through that choice, he changed not just Carly and Rick's lives, but everyone who witnesses this story. The tears we feel aren't just from seeing Carly and Rick's redemption, they're from recognizing the possibility of our own. We all have moments where we fail to live up to our best selves, where we act out of fear or misunderstanding. But stories like this remind us that even in our worst moments, there's room for forgiveness, for change, and for growth. So, let this story be a call to all of us to be slower to judge, quicker to listen, and always open to learning from our mistakes. And above all, to lead with kindness and grace, because you never know whose life you might change in the process, including your own.